Among all the animals that humans have ever domesticated, the dog stands apart. It is not only the first domesticated creature, but also the only large predator to become our companion long before the advent of farms and cities. The history of this alliance is not a sentimental fairy tale, but a complex evolutionary detective story, a mystery whose clues lie in genes, bones, and the very definition of interspecies friendship. The process of turning a wild beast into a domestic one, known as domestication, is not a single event, but a long journey of genetic changes in the behavior and physiology of an entire population. And the main question that has puzzled scientists for centuries is, who exactly dared to approach the human campfire? Was it the fierce gray wolf, trading freedom for food, or some other, more compliant predator, like an ancient jackal? Modern genetics provides an unequivocal answer. Despite the vast diversity of breeds, from the miniature Chihuahua to the giant wolfhound, all domestic dogs are a subspecies of the gray wolf. Their DNA is a 99.9% match, the closest kinship imaginable. Theories about jackal or coyote ancestors have now been completely debunked. So where did they come from? Likely from behavioral observations. Some wild dogs and jackals do indeed seem less aggressive toward humans than wolves. However, the genes don't lie. According to modern research, such as the work of geneticist Adam Friedman, modern dogs and modern wolves share a common ancestor, an ancient, now extinct population of Eurasian wolves. Their paths diverged tens of thousands of years ago. Estimates range from 15,000 to 40,000 years ago. After this split, they evolved in parallel, but they could still interbreed in the early stages. It was these ancient hybrids that complicated the genetic picture. But the main conclusion remains unchanged. The blood of a wolf flows in the veins of every dog. For a long time, a simple hypothesis dominated. Ancient people found wolf dens, killed the adults, and took the pups. They were raised in the tribe, and the most obedient ones became the ancestors of dogs. But this version doesn't hold up to scrutiny. First, taming is not domestication. Taming is the adaptation of an individual wild animal to life with humans. You can tame a tiger or a bear, but its offspring will still be born wild. Domestication is a change at the genetic level of an entire population, where loyalty to humans and useful traits begin to be passed down genetically. Second, raising a wolf pup is extremely difficult. Even today, it is an almost impossible task. Wolf pups raised by humans upon reaching adulthood retain their predatory instincts and become uncontrollable and dangerous. Furthermore, as experts note, for proper development, they need wolf milk with its unique concentration of the amino acid arginine, which cannot be replaced by the milk of other animals. The most probable theory today is that of self-domestication, commensalism. It all began not with human initiative, but with the wolves. Human encampments during the Paleolithic era were a source of food waste. In any wolf population, there were individuals bolder and more curious than others. It was they who risked approaching the camps to pick up bones and scraps of food. Those that were too aggressive were killed. Those that were too timid went hungry. The most human-tolerant individuals survived and reproduced. Generation after generation, this natural selection shaped a population of wolves genetically predisposed to live near people. Humans were not an active participant, but an environmental factor. Determining the exact time and place is the most difficult task. Genetic analysis points to a broad time frame, from 40,000 to 15,000 years ago. This means the process was very long and possibly occurred in different places. Archaeological finds confirm this picture. The oldest remains that can be identified as canine with a high degree of confidence are found in various parts of Eurasia. Germany, the famous Bonn Oberkassel burial, dated to about 14,200 years ago, where a dog was buried with humans, testifies to an already established emotional bond. China and Southeast Asia finds indicate the presence of domesticated dogs around 16,000 years ago. The region between the Volga and Oka rivers, Russia. During the Mesolithic period, the dog was the only domestic animal among the local tribes. There are also older but more controversial finds, up to 30,000 years old. These may represent first waves of domestication, successful but localized and not leading to a global dog population. The relationship was also complex. Some excavations have found dog bones with signs of butchery, indicating they were sometimes eaten. Living with humans changed the dog beyond recognition. These changes affected not only behavior but also physiology. The most striking example is digestion. When humans transitioned from hunting and gathering to agriculture, their diet, and thus their dog's diet, became rich in starchy plant foods. Dogs, unlike wolves, developed more copies of the gene responsible for producing amylase, an enzyme that breaks down starch. This allowed them to efficiently digest carbohydrates. Interestingly, breeds historically closer to wolves, like the Siberian Husky, and secondarily wild dogs, dingoes, have significantly lower levels of amylase. External changes, floppy ears, spotted coats, curled tails, are part of the so-called domestication syndrome. This is a byproduct of selection for friendly behavior, which is linked to changes in the hormonal system. Initially, the dog was a versatile assistant. It guarded the camp, warning of predators with its bark, and helped in the hunt by tracking and cornering game. But over time, people began to engage in selective breeding, choosing and raising animals with desired qualities. This is how the division into breeds began. The first split, dogs were divided into guard dogs, large, strong, with powerful jaws, and hunting dogs. Hunting breeds, in turn, were divided into scent hounds, pursuing game by scent, sight hounds, chasing prey with speed, terriers for hunting underground, and so on. Much later, in societies where survival was no longer a daily struggle, companion dogs emerged. Their job was to entertain their owner and signify their status. Today, selective breeding continues, but the goals have changed. People need dogs for search and rescue, service dogs for the blind, and therapy dogs for psychological support. There is a view that the alliance with the dog was one of the catalysts for human development. Efficient hunting. Dogs made hunting safer and more productive, allowing people to suffer fewer injuries in confrontations with large animals. Transition to animal husbandry. The experience gained in domesticating the dog could be applied to other species. Dogs also became the first shepherds, guarding herds from predators. Crop protection. In agricultural communities, dogs helped control rodents and birds that destroyed crops. The time freed up from constant hunting could be devoted to developing crafts, agriculture, and social structures. Despite thousands of years of shared history, the process of domestication is not complete. There are still populations of so-called pariah dogs, or primitive dogs on the planet that live near humans, are not dependent on them. These include the Australian dingo, the New Guinea singing dog, the Carolina dog. These animals represent a living window into the past, showing what dogs might have been like in the early stages of domestication. There are also semi-feral breeds that, while living with humans, maintain a high degree of independence and dominance, preferring to keep their distance. The story of the wolf's transformation into the dog is a unique example of co-evolution, where both species benefited. The wolf gained a reliable source of food and protection, which allowed it to spread across the entire globe. And humans gained not just a helper, but a loyal friend, whose devotion, even after millennia, remains one of nature's most amazing phenomena.